All right, we are back. Let's talk some DFS. We got a Tuesday showdown slate here with Golden State and Dallas. Apologize for not uploading over the last few days, guys. Had COVID and definitely was not feeling great. Could barely talk for a few days. Had fever, pretty bad fever, cough. Just not fun, not fun at all. But feeling a little bit better now and ready to talk some NBA DFS. Ready to tilt some NBA DFS with you guys. But if this is your first time watching, welcome. I do cover Draftkings, NBA Top Prize Picks, and SuperDraft. SuperDraft is the sponsor of today's video. Make sure to use the code DKDFS for a $50 match on a $50 deposit. They do have player prop contests as well as multiplier format contests. So check that out. Take advantage of the free money if you are a new user. But yeah, let's just get into the video. So with Golden State Dallas, it's 3-0, so it is do or die time now for Dallas. We've had some competitive games in the series, but Golden State has definitely looked like the better team so far. So let's start off with the Golden State side. So at the top, we have Steph Curry to 11.6K. I mean, he's going to play 38 minutes or so on average. He's been pretty consistent of late. He is the guard with the highest ceiling for Golden State. So like Steph Curry. However, pricing is very, very tight on the slate. Just not much value. And, you know, we also have Luka Doncic on the slate. So you're going to have to make some tough calls. Might even have to take a zero with like a 1K guy. We'll talk about that. But yeah, Steph, if you have the salary for him, looks good. Now, Clay, nothing more than a contrarian play. I mean, he has really not shot well at all in the playoffs. More often than not, it's going to fail. Every once in a while, though, he can come through. Like, he does have a ceiling, so he's not out of play, just more of a contrarian play, and depending on how you want to build out your lineup. Now, Wiggins is a guy, surprisingly, I know it's weird, but I've been all over him in the playoffs because, especially this series, just because of how aggressive he's been offensively, because Luka is guarding Wiggins on the other side, so Golden State just wants Wiggins to be aggressive offensively, and he really has. He's been crushing it, you know, averaging like 40 fantasy points a game, playing huge minutes, the primary defender in Luka as well. I think the only concern I have with Wiggins is potential foul trouble. Other than that, I mean, I like him quite a bit here in the mid-range. Draymond has been a little bit quiet. He's dealt with foul trouble basically almost every single game. But he's a guy that, you know, does have triple-double upside. He will be handling the ball a lot as well. So no issue if you want to go to Draymond either. Looney, I was so incredibly tilted about that game from him last game. You know, with Otto Porter back at his price point, he was priced basically the same as like Wiggins and Draymond, and there's just no reason to play Looney over those guys. And of course, Otto Porter gets injured, so he plays more. I was on full tilt mode. But with Looney, keep an eye on Otto Porter news. If Otto Porter plays, I think Looney is very much overpriced. If Otto Porter misses, Golden State's going to run a pretty tight rotation, and then you probably can expect around 30 minutes or so from Looney. So if Porter misses, you can consider Looney. If Porter plays, in my opinion, he is fish food tomorrow. And then Jordan Poole is at 7-6. Played 28 minutes last game. If there's no Porter, I think you should feel pretty confident with his minutes of close to 30. He's a guy that does have a pretty high ceiling. So like Poole, like his upside. And would like him a little bit more, too, if Otto Porter does not play. Now, Otto Porter himself, if he plays, I think is a good value play. There's not much value on the slate. If he plays, unless we get news that he's going to be limited, I would assume we get, 22 to 24 minutes. Unfortunately, I played him previously. He got injured, but I've had some pretty bad luck with injuries recently. But yes, that is a key piece of news to keep an eye on. They have him listed as doubtful here. He was originally doubtful, now questionable. We'll see. So that is pretty significant. Now, if Porter does not play, then Moses Moody is probably the one guy you want to look to. He got 16 minutes. Now, he's not a good point per minute guy at all, but he's probably the guy that does see the most minutes if Porter does not play. And then that's really it. Like, we haven't really seen Kuminga this series. We haven't really seen Bielitsa. Damian Lee, did not play last game. He was originally the guy over Moody in the rotation, but he didn't even play. We saw like a few minutes from JTA, who I guess if Porter doesn't play, you could see a couple minutes from him. But yeah, that's really it for Golden State. So let's move on to Dallas. And I mentioned, sped up Luka Doncic. Yeah, I mean, he's going to play like 40 minutes. Dallas obviously has to win this game. So he's a great play if you can afford him. Yeah, like Luka a lot. The issue is just there's not much value, right? That's the only downside of the slate is you're going to have to make some really tough calls with your roster construction. Now, Jalen Brunson's at 9K. He's been their second best player. The price point doesn't really stand out to me, though. So he's just kind of just there. A little bit harder to prioritize both Luka and Brunson. So, Brunson probably the guy I would leave out if I had to fade one of those guys. Dinwiddie's the next most expensive player. Minutes have been a little bit up and down on him, from low 20s to 32 last game. Dallas really needs offense, and they've been struggling offensively making shots. Reggie, Bullock, and Maxi Kleber combined like 0 of 20 last game. Just horrendous stuff. But the Dinwiddie, the ceiling is there. We saw in Game 7 against Phoenix when we went for 43 fantasy points. So I think he's playable. I just don't like that the price has gone up on him a good amount. Now, Dorian Finney-Smith and Reggie Bullock, these are two guys that are more out there for the defense, but are going to play huge minutes. They just really haven't done a ton this series. Dorian Finney-Smith averaging like 15 fantasy points a game. Basically the same with Reggie Bullock, who, again, shot 0 of 10 last game. Both struggled, but, they're going to see big minutes, so they're playable for that reason. Now, the Maxi Kleber faders. Do not get me started with the Maxi Kleber faders. They have gotten extremely bailed out with the just awful shooting every single game. Kleber was such a good value last slate, and the faders just continue to get bailed out with 1 of 8 shooting, 1 of 7 shooting, 0 of 5 shooting. He did legit look scared to shoot the ball last game. So with Kleber, they want to play in big minutes in the series. The thing is, he just cannot hit a shot. So if he continues to shoot 0% from the field, they can't play him huge minutes. But if he has a decent game, they're probably going to play him over 30 minutes. And that was my whole thought process for why I liked Derek White quite a bit tonight. I was like, okay, the sentiment is really low on Derek White, right? I talked about this because it's like on Twitter, everyone, like we saw the Boston starting lineup, and everyone was like, start Pritchard, White sucks, right? The overreactions we talk about all the time. So I talked about that. I was like, you know what? I'm going to play Derek White in the captain. Just because sentiment is so low on him, and he's not that bad. Like, yeah, he's struggled so far in the playoffs, but that doesn't mean he's going to continue to struggle. And he bounced back in a huge way and smashed one of the few things I got right tonight. But I think the sentiment is obviously extremely low on Kleber. I'm still fine going back there, but man, it is just tough with how scared he's looked out there shooting. He cannot make a shot right now. And if he continues to struggle, I think they're going to close small and just, play Dinwiddie out there and close with Dorian Finney-Smith at 5. Other than that, we have Davis Bertans at 2.6, who probably see somewhere in the neighborhood of like 10 or so minutes. He can knock down threes, but not good out there defensively. Dwight Powell is $2,000. He's probably going to play around 10 minutes. It's not exciting. Doesn't really have a ceiling. I think I would rather just take the shot on Bertans and hope he hits the shots than Powell, because I think the ceiling is just higher in Bertans. And then we've seen Frank Ntilikina play a little bit. We've seen Josh Green play a little bit, but not really enough for me to consider either of those guys at the flat 1K. So yeah, that's really it. So yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the video. Again, if you guys have been enjoying the YouTube videos, just make sure to like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Those things do help me out a ton. But appreciate it as always, guys. And I'll see you all in the next video.